Life, and your host is Bonava. And today I want to talk about my process of making 50K a month that I've been testing, and I want to make it as accessible as possible so that it doesn't become like a mystery that many humanitarians tell me is that, oh my god, this is impossible, I don't even know where to start, and all of those. And I wanted to share some of the processes that I have been trying and testing out with some of my clients as well who are wanting to do that. And it doesn't matter if it's 50K or less, but the point is how it could look like and what it takes for you as well to make this for yourself as an outcome, if this is something that you are interested in. Because as I coach a lot of humanitarians, I know that for many of them, including myself, financial freedom is such an important topic, and we want to feel like we know how to do it. We want to feel we know how to be in charge of creating the outcomes we would like to. And therefore, I wanted to get into sharing my process of how I do that. And also, I wanted to start from a bit the beginning of how I started, meaning that when I was a humanitarian, I had no clue of what it even takes to make your own money while doing what you like. And I came from this mindset of, oh my God, in order to make even 10K or less within the UN setting, you need to survive a lot of suffering. You need to survive a lot of duty stations you don't want to go to. You need to be surviving a lot of suffering, being away from your family. You need to survive a lot of office politics and a lot of pressure and stress in order to make that money. That's how my mindset used to be. And then when I transitioned to being my own boss and doing coaching and what I love, and then I started figuring out about, oh my God, how am I even going to create my financial freedom? I think at the time I wasn't even thinking about financial freedom. I was just thinking, okay, what does it take for me to replicate my UN salary? And that's it, right? So as I went through from this process of, I have no clue and I'm not the person who can even make this happen, to being curious and being open to testing and finding out how to do this, I feel like I have come a long way, and I realized several things that I wanted to share with you in case this is helpful. So I have realized that what it takes to create the amount of money that gets you financial freedom, whatever your amount of money is. For a lot of humanitarians I coach, it is starting from 4 or 5K a month to name it, right? Whatever the ceiling is. But let's say that we are about to make 20K, 50K a month, and what does it take? The main thing that I have realized that what it takes is having a skill that is so valuable that you are able to charge the money that you would like to, right? Whatever that skill is that you have that is so valuable that gets you to working with people you would like to and charging people the amount that you would like to. So in my case, the most skill that is valuable that I find in my skill set is coaching people and getting them to the outcomes that they would like to, right? To getting them transition through to the outcomes they would like to. That is the skill set that is most valuable, and that's why I can charge the amount that I believe is worth the value. So that is one thing, that what it takes to get to the outcome that you would like to. Another thing that is what it takes, I have seen, is solving a lot of problems in the process of getting to the outcome you would like to, right? So I have made my skill very valuable by myself trying out, doing all the things, solving a lot of problems, and figuring out how to get to the outcome that I want to. And that's how my credibility is very high, because I have done this work myself. I have transitioned myself. I have created all the outcomes in the life that I want to myself. So therefore, I have made my skill very valuable by trying it on myself and problem solving along the way. And that is what it takes for us to create the outcome that we want to, whatever the number outcome that we want to, right? And the third thing that what it takes is doing the actions while feeling whatever the things that you're feeling. In other words, managing a lot of emotions, right? Because when we are doing the actions of getting to, doing things that is required for us to get to the outcome we want to, a lot of emotions come up that we don't want to tolerate, a lot of emotions that we don't want to even experience, a lot of emotions of hardship or feeling disappointed, feeling frustrated, feeling entitled, feeling fearful, uncomfortable, all of those emotions. And managing those emotions is what it takes. And then the last point is what it takes is the identity, which actually is maybe should be in the first point. The identity of you being the person who is willing to experiment, who's willing to solve those problems, who's willing to create or work on the skill that is so valuable that other people want to work with you, and the skill or identity of you being the person who can manage it all, right? So that is the identity that it takes for us to take to the outcome that we want to, especially around 20K, 50K a month. Now, the process that I wanted to share so that you can go through with me of how to get to the outcome that we want to is for me, making 50K is signing three individual clients and then 10 group clients, right? So, in order to get to that outcome, I first outline or write down all the actions that I need to take or I want to take to get to that outcome. And I also tell myself that I don't want to make these actions under pressure or stress or hustle because I know that under pressure, hustle, or stress, I don't perform well, I don't do well, and I don't create the outcomes that I want to. So therefore, I always think about, okay, what are the actions that I want to take? Excuse me, and what are the actions I don't want to take? And that is key. So the actions that I may take is how many people that I will be talking to, what speaking engagements I will be doing, what posts I will be doing that shows valuable content that I have, maybe videos that I make, videos that show how valuable the work with me is, whatever it is that I want to demonstrate, right? So those are the actions. And then what are the actions of getting results to my current clients so that they feel so good about working with me that they refer other people, right? So these are all the actions I continuously take. Now, there are the actions that I don't take as well. And that's, I think, key in the process. And those actions that I don't take, or at least I try to, and if I do take, I coach myself as to why am I taking those actions, and these actions are dramatizing, right? Quitting in the process, keep changing things in the process, keep adding things and changing the variables in the process. Because if I keep changing the variables, then my experiment will not really go well, right? So therefore, in order to keep having the experiment of finding out what works and what is the way that I can create the outcome that I would like to, I want to keep the experiment in the same way, taking the same actions over extended period of time. Maybe it is 3 months, maybe 6 months, to find out if this set of actions are working. And these actions, obviously, I guess and or I hypothesize and say, this is my hypothesis of this action's working. And therefore, the actions I don't take is keep changing things in the process, keep quitting on myself in the process, keep sabotaging myself, and keep blaming others for why things are not working. So these are the things that I try not to do. And if I am doing them, then I coach myself or get coaching so that I stop doing those. Now, action points are finished. Now, I want to look at how valuable my actions are, right? So, in other words, how valuable my skill set is, how valuable my actions I'm taking, the quality of action. That's the other part that I look at in the process. And I also want to look at, okay, what is the number of people that I need to be reaching, right? What is my audience, whom I'm reaching to? And then the other part of the process that is so important, which is the feelings part. What are the feelings that I want to be allowing myself to go through this process? And what are the feelings I don't want to be indulging in, right? The feelings that I want to be embodying or experiencing as I go through this is feeling powerful, feeling convicted that this is the work that I love doing with other people, feeling purposeful that the reasons, like being aware of the reasons why I'm doing this, what I'm doing this for. I want to do this so that as many humanitarians as possible don't feel stuck anymore in the jobs or situations they don't want to be in, and they trust themselves enough to be pursuing bigger dreams that they would like to. That is really my purpose. And then what are the feelings that I don't want to have or I don't want to indulge in is the feeling of frustration, feeling of procrastination, feeling of fear, feeling of indecision, feeling of confusion. These are the feelings I don't want to be indulged in. And if I notice myself, then I coach myself again so that I don't indulge in them and waste or spend a lot of time where I don't want to. And then the last part of the process is who I am as I go through this process, right? In other words, the identity of the person who does this thing. So I want to be in the identity of I know how to solve the problems that they come as I do this work, right? Because there will be also a lot of problems that I will be solving. And I am the person who's able and capable of solving them or capable of figuring out. That is the identity I want to be in. I also want to be in the identity of I'm in charge and I figure this out together with my universe, whoever you want to co-create this with. I do that by feeling like, okay, I want to be in this identity of being in charge and doing these things and figuring things out and finding out how to do this, how to be so reliable on myself that I can create whatever the outcomes that I want to, not out of pressure, not out of stress, or not out of desperation or anything or need, but rather out of curiosity and powerfulness of what else am I capable of, right? And the once I have these processes, once I go through these processes, right, of the looking at the actions that I take, looking at the actions that I don't take, looking at how valuable things need to be, looking at feelings that I want to ride on or feelings that I don't want to indulge in. And then the identity piece. And then the last piece that I want to then look at is what are the problems I need to be solving to get to this. And this is the important part that I think many of us in the process of creating the outcomes we like, we don't really think about it. But as I coach a lot of people on this, like I ask them, what is the financial freedom you would like to have, right? And a lot of people tell me that, oh, I would like to have at least 4K a month so I can support my family, myself, right? Whatever the outcome, the number that you have in mind, I always ask them then, okay, what are the problems that you believe are standing in the way of you achieving it, right? So how much do you believe that you can achieve it? And that's when they will start telling me all of their limitations or all of their reasons why they don't think it's possible, right? And those are the problems we need to be solving because otherwise we'll keep sabotaging ourselves along the way. So the problems that I will be solving for any of the outcome that I create is that it is impossible to achieve it, right? That it is hard at least, if not impossible. It takes a long time and it's scary. And these are the problems we need to be solving, no matter which of the money amount you are seeking in the end, right? I have seen this type of reasoning come up with whatever the money outcomes that we have set with my clients, whether it is 4K or 50K or any other. So then I start looking at, okay, how am I going to solve these problems that my brain believes are the problems, right? So it being impossible, it being hard, it taking a long time, it being scary, right? So how do I solve these things? Excuse me. When I start solving these things, I have like solved it in so many different ways, and I have also talked about this, but I have always like reasoned with myself as to how I am solving it or I can solve it or how others are solving it, right? So it being impossible is I bring a lot of evidence to show that there are a lot of different amazing people that I admire are doing this and more. So how are they doing this, right? So that's why if they're doing it, so then the human brain is capable of doing it. Okay, then how am I making it possible for myself? What are the ways that I can try it out so that my brain starts shifting to what if that is possible, right? The the part about it being hard, right? So I start getting into, okay, what does hard mean, and why am I not willing to work through the hard? What is stopping me from working through the hard if it gets me to the financial freedom that I want to? And it might come as, well, this is something very uncomfortable, or I don't know how to do. I have never done this before. Um, I don't think it's possible to do this while doing what you love. It's not sustainable or it's not stable. These are the things that may come up under the umbrella of hard. Okay, and then I start solving for each of them individually, right? So how do I make it sustainable? How do I make it stable? How do I do this in a way that I am able to process uncomfortable feelings and do it anyway? What are the ways that I want to create these outcomes? What are the ways I don't want to create these outcomes, right? So I start solving for all of them. The same goes for it being scary or taking a long time, right? Scary is not a problem because I feel like every brain will just say scary in the beginning and that's normal, and I just don't make it a problem anymore. But when it comes to processing fear or any other emotions, I feel I'm so good at it already that it helps me a lot. So, in case you are not good at those emotions yet, it's okay. You can also get good at experiencing and processing those emotions. And I would love to help you do that as well if you come coach with me. And the part about it taking a long time, this is something very interesting is that I always think, why does it need to take a long time, right? So why the time needs to solve this or why time needs to be a problem? Because if we really get good at practicing our skill of being so valuable and making that skill so valuable through different practices, different means, then why it needs to take a long time. And even I question, what does a long time mean? Is it 1 year? Is it 6 months? Is it 2 years? And the other question is, even if it takes 1 year or 2 years, am I willing to figure this out so that it is no longer an issue? Or am I going to keep avoiding figuring this out so that then I become the victim of my own life by doing things that I don't want to, being in situations I don't want to, because that feels hard and that feels like scary if I have to do that for the rest of my life. So therefore, am I willing to figure this out now? So the more I start solving these problems, then the new problems will come up as we go and do this, right? And that's okay. But the point is that you can always write it out, all the problems that you believe will come as you go for this outcome that you would like to. Maybe you will feel disappointed, maybe you will feel a failure, maybe you will feel judgment a lot, right? And how are you going to solve these as you go to create the outcome that you desire? And that is really the process that I go through. I want to just like read summarize of what it takes for me to create the outcome that I would like to, and I would like for you to also think about what does it take for you to create the outcome you want to. The what it takes, I believe, is having the skill or making your skill so valuable, whatever that skill is that gets you the outcome that you want to, and problem solving along the process, managing a lot of the emotions, and having the identity that you are actually capable of doing all of those things. That is, I believe, what it takes to create the outcome that you desire. And then the process of going through this is looking at all the actions you will be taking, all the actions you will not be taking, looking at how valuable those actions need to be, right? And then looking at the feelings of what feelings you operate from, what feelings you will not indulge in, and then having the identity of you are someone who can do this thing and who can create the outcomes that you would like to. So this is my process, and I would love to invite you to work with me on creating your own process for creating the outcome that you would like to, that gets you to the financial freedom that you really desire. And if we can figure this out, how to do this, I feel like we will never be in a situation we don't want to be. We will never be tolerating behaviors or toxic environments we don't want to be, and we'll always pursue what we love because we have that ability, we have that capacity and knowing and confidence that we can create whatever outcomes we want to, right? So if you would like to coach with me individually on this, come do that. You will have the link to book your consult appointment, and I can't wait to hear from you. Thank you so much. Bye.